My name is Timbo Radio, and this is Timbo Talk. Once again, I'd like to thank you for spending some time with us here today, joining us for another episode of the podcast. I'm so appreciative of folks who have reached out, sent messages. I've got some questions for the upcoming Ask Timbo episode, so I'm looking forward to recording that. People have just been very kind and very supportive with the positive feedback. The only constructive / negative feedback I got was from my mama who listened, like immediately. I was surprised. I was shocked almost that my mama knew how to access a podcast, even though I sent her a link. I was like, dang, mom, you got Spotify? Anyways, she was like, maybe just don't say and so much, but it was really good, honey. Just a couple things. So that was pretty good. Love you, mama. But for real, thank you guys for listening and sharing. And I hope to continue on this podcasting journey for the foreseeable future. I'd also like to take a minute to give a huge shout out to producer Rob, who you guys have never heard of, but who is really the person who is making this whole thing happen. Okay. Producer Rob is a good friend of mine. I think I know Rob since he was like 11 or 12 years old. I was probably 13, 14. So years before Timbo Talk became an actual thing, I think it was actually 3 years ago, I was a guest on his podcast. And when we finished, he was like, bro, you need to start a pod. You should really do this. And I was like, yeah, I've thought about it, bro, but, this and that. And then it was 3 years and nothing had happened. So we caught up a couple months ago and he pretty much leaned on me and was like, yo, man, you need to start a podcast. And here we are a couple months later with Timbo Talk. So I just like to give a shout out to producer Rob, my boy. Not only is he the producer of Timbo Talk, but he also edits every episode. He's somebody I bounce ideas off of. He's somebody I call throughout the week, text throughout the week. And most importantly, he's somebody who I trust wholly and completely. And there's just not a lot of people who I mess with like that. But, when you've known somebody for 25 years and, you know their heart, and he done made you a Cheez-It sandwich when you was a kid, that's an unbreakable bond. Y'all don't know nothing about the Cheez-It sandwich. That's another conversation for another time. So yeah, today's episode, the first ever story time with Timbo. I was talking to a friend about how, as a therapist, you're always on. And it actually started off as kind of a joke. I explained to this friend of mine, I said, it'd be really nice, if you're a mechanic or something and, your boy runs up on you, like, hey, man, the car's running funny. Something's off. And you take a look at it and you're like, hey, man, I checked it out. It's your radiator. And they're like, oh, okay, like, what's up? Can you hook me up? Can you take care of it? And you're like, yeah, I could take care of it on Saturday. Should be able to squeeze you in. I fixed the radiator for $200. I'll give you the friends and family discount. Your friend's like, cool, $200. See you Saturday. When you're a therapist, like when somebody calls you and needs to talk or there's like a crisis or something happens, it's like, at what point do I pull out the square? Like, okay, or should I just send you an invoice later? And my friends started laughing. And at least you guys that have my phone number, don't start hitting the DMs. But all my people who have ever reached out to me and do reach out to me, please don't stop. I'm here for it. Like, I'm glad to help, but it was just kind of a joke. So in that conversation, I thought of this story, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to tell on the pod. And this is a true story. All of this happened. This happened actually probably about a year ago, so it's a very recent story. I'm really blessed. I have some amazing neighbors. I know the majority of the neighbors who live around me. The folks across the street, the folks to the right of the people across the street, the next door neighbors directly to the left, the next door neighbors directly to the right, people down on the corner, the people 2 houses down, whatever. Several of us have become really, really close. And it's been a major blessing. We get together for dinner. Our kids play together. We go out. We have drinks at night. We kick it. It's just great. Become really, really close with them. So, you spend time with your neighbors and your neighbors know you and they find out what you do. So one of my wonderful neighbors, I was contemplating name dropping, but I'm not going to do it. But I will say that he is like the first neighbor that I met. And he's a great dude. So some new neighbors move in. There's a rental next door to this neighbor. And they have a teenage son and a younger daughter, husband and wife, whatever. And, they've been there for, I don't know, some months. And I come home and my neighbor across the street pulls me across and he goes, hey, this family next door? I'm like, yeah, I've seen him my wave. I haven't really met him. I don't know much about him. And he's like, well, they got a kid who's maybe 13, 14. He's a teenager. And I know what you do for work. He was upset the other day and said he was going to run away and this and that. And he ended up hanging at our house for a couple hours. And so if you happen to see him, you should talk to him. He seems like he could use a little guidance. And I'm like, okay, all right. If I have an opportunity to do that, I'll certainly do that. I appreciate the heads up, And that's me, legit. Love kids. Always work with the young people. So if I have an opportunity to do that, I'll definitely do that. Right. So fast forward a couple months later, I think I was taking the trash out. Walked out in front of the house, and I see the young fella, and he looks visibly upset. Right. I know what that looks like. I'm a therapist. I was reading his body language. So anyways, little dude looks mad. So I yell out across the street. I'm like, hey, man, you good? And, he's kind of got tears in his eyes. And he walks over across the street and he's kind of wiping his eyes. And he's like, man, no, I'm not. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And, he proceeds to tell me, man, I got upset and I broke some stuff in the backyard. And then my little sister called my dad. Long and the short is, man, my dad said he's on the way. He's going to beat my ass. So I'm like, oh, man. As a therapist, I'm a mandated reporter. Obviously, I can't let a kid get beat down. I'm like, dang. And another thing about me is I minds my own business. I don't want to get all involved in what's going on in people's houses. I don't want to call the police on people. I don't want no parts of any of that. But anyways, so he's telling me this. So, we talk a little bit and I'm encouraging him. I said, look, dude, every kid, you're 12, 13 years old. Dude, every 12 and 13-year-old little boy has had beef with their dad at some point. It's part of growing up. It's part of maturing. It's challenging for parents, but it's challenging for us too as young men too, man. But, your dad loves you. You got to sit down. You got to talk to your pops, man. You guys got to get on the same page. You got to get this stuff figured out. You know what I mean? And so I'm encouraging them and I'm encouraging them. And as we're talking, he's like, oh, man, here he comes right now. And I don't know what to expect. So I'm like, damn, all right, is Pop's going to jump out the truck and run up on me? What's going to happen? So anyways, I just sit there. Pop pulls up, jumps out of his truck. Pop looks across the street, sees his son talking to me, and just goes in the house. So we're talking. And I'm like, man, I ain't finna harbor no young fugitive. So I tell him, I'm like, hey, man, you know where I live. Go talk to your pops, bro. If you broke some stuff, if you did something you shouldn't have done, own it, man. Just be like, pops, my bad. I know I made a mistake, whatever. Okay. He takes off. He goes home. So I see him out front, the next day. And I ask him, hey, man, is everything okay? Is everything cool? Everything go all right? And he's like, yeah, everything's fine. No problem. I'm like, cool. I move on. So now it's about 3 weeks later. I think I had dinner with the neighbors that night. The kids were playing. It was a beautiful night. We had a couple drinks, ate some food. I came home, got my kid in bed, maybe had a couple more drinks, relax, whatever. I get in bed. I'm in bed, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, maybe 20, 30 minutes. It's like, I don't know, 11:22 p.m. I hear a ding, ding. And boy, before I could finish jumping out of bed, my dog is going off. And I'm like, oh, Lord. And then I'm like, who the hell would be ringing my doorbell at 11:20 at night? I'm thinking it's the neighbors, blah, 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 blah. But all the people who I'm close to know, if you're going to come through, text first. I don't like when people ring the doorbell. It's alarming. And especially at almost 11:30 at night, my kid's asleep. I'm afraid she's going to be up. So whatever. So I go to the door. It's a little man from across the street. So I'm like, oh, man, you got to be kidding me. So I open up the door and he's like, hey, man, I think I need you to call the police. And I'm like, oh, Lord, anything but that. Like, what is going on, yo? And so he's like, man, me and my pops got into it and he's been drinking and this, that. And I'm like, oh, man, I might really have to call the police for real. And so I'm like, what happened? He's like, we just been arguing and fighting. And I just came over here, man. Like, I don't feel safe. And I was like, okay, this kid has been in the system. He's using phrases. So why immediately I'm trying to de-escalate. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. He tells me what's going on. And I'm like, is everybody okay at home? He's like, yeah, I think. I'm like, ah. So then I know he has a mother. So I'm like, hey, man, you have a phone on you? No, I don't have my phone on me. Okay, where's your mom at? Well, she's at work. Give him my phone. He calls his mom. He calls her on speakerphone. And as soon as he's like, Mom, as soon as he says mom, his mama starts going off. She's like, what are you doing? I just talked to your dad. Like, why are you causing trouble and this and this and that? And he's like, nah, Ma, he hit my sister. And he's like, and his mama's like, no, he didn't. I just talked to her. Like, you can't keep fighting with your dad. Like, why do you keep doing this? And I was like, oh my Lord, I'm all up in their business now. And that's not fun for me. So anyways, whatever. So she tells him to go home, this and that. Right then, their door opens. Now Pops walks out. So now Pops walking across the street towards me. And now I really don't know what's about to go down. I don't know if he's going to come snatch up his kid. I don't know if he's going to run up on me and try to put hands on me. I don't know if he's armed. I'm thinking about all the scenarios. So he walks into the middle of the street. I'm like, oh, man, here we go. As he gets about halfway across the street, he goes, nah. Tell the neighbor everything. Don't lie. Don't tell the truth. Tell the neighbor everything. So I'm like, oh, damn. So Pops comes up and he's like, man, I don't know you. I'm a hardworking dude. I take care of my kids. I take care of my family. This little dude just is disrespectful. He been getting into trouble. Pops is going on and on. He's like, hey, man, I work hard. So I wear nice clothes. Buy myself designer clothing or whatever. I take all my kids back to school shopping. I make sure they have everything they need. I even got this little dude a cell phone. And I have very simple rules. Okay? He gets suspended from school because he recorded a video of him smoking a vape pen in the back of the classroom. And then he looks at his son and he goes, see? Oh, no, wait. And I was like, ooh, I know what that means. And little homie was just silent. He just had that look of shame on his face. And Pops goes on. Hey, man, I come home sometimes. I'm looking for my stuff. I'm like, what happened to my Hugo Boss shirt? This dude sold a $100 shirt for $20 for I don't know what. Pops is going on and on. And so he'll make a statement like, I told him, hey, man, don't be smoking weed, and especially don't be smoking weed in my house. I'll come home. His little sister tells me he's been smoking weed in the bathroom. It smells like weed in the bathroom. See or no way. See or no. I'm like, oh, man, brother, you getting blasted by Pops, right? So anyways, this goes on. So Pops, airs out his grievances. And I look at him. I'm looking at little dude. I'm like, yo, it doesn't sound like Pops is being unreasonable at all. I understand why there's friction. Like, what's up? And he's just kind of quiet. And I'm like, look, dude, like I said, bro, you're going to butt heads with your dad. It's part of growing up. But, man, you don't pay bills. You don't have nowhere to go. If your Pops lays down rules, man, you got to respect that, bro. You know what I mean? So we chop it up and, his dad gets real emotional. It's probably been at least 35, 40. It's after midnight, y'all. Okay? It's been 35, 40 minutes and they're talking and they're hashing out. And I'm literally mediating a dispute between father and son in the front of my house in some hoop shorts and a tank top, yo. It was damn near midnight. We keep talking. And, Pops gets really emotional. He's like, man, I love my son. This is I'll do anything for this guy. I done moved him out of a bad neighborhood here. Yo, man, I made mistakes in my life. I've been shot. I've been in trouble. I work hard so he doesn't have to live a life like that. And little dude I could see his eyes welling up. He's kind of emotional and he's kind of looking at me. I'm like, don't look at me, man. Look at your Pops. That's real talk. He's doing all these things for you. What's up? You know what I mean? And so whatever, they hash it out. We talk. We're out front for probably 45 minutes. 45 minutes into the conversation, his mama calls my phone back. So I'm like, so I answered. She's like, hey, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if I said, he's here and your husband is here. They're talking right now. They're talking? Like right now? I said, yes, you're on speakerphone. They're talking right in front of me. He's like, I'll call you in a minute, mama. She hangs up. So whatever. We finish talking and things get de-escalated. They hugged it out. They were able to kind of squash things. I said, look, and one of the things Pop said, he said, hey, man, this guy knows if I get in trouble, if I get arrested, I'm going to get deported, So I can't be in a situation where this guy's calling the police and that's what he threatens to do. He always shows his ass and talks a bunch of shit and is disrespectful. Then he's like, well, I'll call the police. I'm going to call the police. I'm going to call the police. And he looks at him. He's like, you want me to get deported? You want me to leave you and your sister and your mom here? And little dude just cries, just breaks down. And I'm just like, dude, come on, man. We got to figure this out, dude. So we continue to kind of de-escalate things. We talk through things. They end up hugging it out. And before they head home, I'm like, look, if y'all want, tomorrow, I'll grill up some chicken out back, like have you guys over for dinner, like we could chop it up, like bring mama, like bring your sister. I know that my daughter went to school with their daughter, so they knew each other. So I know our kids play. Let's get together. Let's eat. Whatever. But just want you guys to know, like, I'm here to be of support any way that I can. And I told him, I was like, I can help you get into counseling. For little dude, if whatever's going on, just let me know how I can help. So that was that. Then went home. It's about 12:30. I wanted to have another drink at that point, but I didn't because it was a work night. So I got in bed and I followed up. Just like when I pulled up at home the next day, I went right over there, rang the door. Had never rang the door before. Rang the doorbell. I said, hey, man, if you guys want to have dinner, I got chicken, I'm a grill, this and that. They didn't end up taking me up on it, but, they were in a good place. And little dude came to the door and said everything was cool. And Pops came out and we chopped it a little bit. And Pops thanked me for the conversation and, all that good stuff. So I wish I had a significant update to share. I don't. I saw him for probably like 6 more months, not like as a patient. I just saw him in the neighborhood for probably like 6 more months and would see his mother and see his son. Unfortunately, as I understand it, the mother and the father ended up splitting up, but I saw them towards the end of the school year and he said like, everything's great. I'm doing good in school. Me and my mom are fighting. Everybody's happy. So, and then they ended up moving. So yeah, that is guys, I kid you not. I probably have 358 stories that are like that in nature. Not necessarily people coming to my, door at the middle of the night, ringing the doorbell, but man, I mean, being out at the bar, sitting at the airport, like, this stuff always happens. And I've kind of always been that person where people kind of will just open up and let me know what's going on. But it's double because when you're a therapist or a social worker or a psychologist or a psychiatrist, like when you help people like that, like it's like people can smell it and they just open up to you, random places, start working. So, I'm sure I'll tell more stories like this, but that is why, as a therapist, you're always on duty and you never know what's going to happen. I should have invoiced my neighbors, but I didn't. Appreciate you joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. I look forward to sharing more stories with you. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Make sure you're taking care of yourselves and getting your rest. This is Timbo Talk.